The Saudis have envisioned a futuristic vertical city called the Line that has no cars, produces no pollution, runs an ecosystem of both people and lush vegetation, and will somehow manage to do all this while sitting in the middle of a barren desert. Now, if you are wondering how this is even possible, then I am here to help. In this video. I will show you how. I need to introduce you to the larger project associated with Neom.
اليوم بصفتي رئيس مجلس إدارة نيوم نقدم لكم ذا لاين، مدينة مليونية بطول 170 كيلو، صفر سيارات، صفر شوارع، وصفر انبعاثات كربونية.
In 2017, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia shared with the world his vision for creating a futuristic, utopian city called Neom in the Saudi province of Tabuk, near the Red Sea. The region is situated on the Gulf of Aqaba and the Red Sea, with the Straits of Tehran connecting the two bodies of water. On the other side of Tehran is the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh, which is now that the Alm itself is divided into three main areas. This project is the nation's approach of lessening its dependence on crude oil, diversifying its economy, and increasing research in several science-based fields. The first section is called Octagon. On the surface, Octagon is a $500 billion floating futuristic skyscraper in northwestern Saudi Arabia. A megacity in the shape of an octagon that the Crown Prince says will serve as a paradigm for how people, industries, and technology can coexist in harmony with nature, will have the largest hydrogen production facilities as the foundation of its hydrogen economy, and half of the city will float on the 600-meter deep Red Sea. The second part of Neom is Trojan, and it is here that the Saudi ambition is brought to a completely different level. There won't be any cars, only high-speed rail transit systems. Still, it will have air travel and ports with a capacity of about 3.5 million TEUs, making it one of the biggest in the world. The tallest mountain range in Saudi Arabia's Trojan will be transformed into or out of a world-class tourist attraction. We're talking about a superstructure on mountains between 1,500 and 2,600 meters above sea level that will cover about 60 square kilometers. But that's not even the most impressive aspect of the project. Because the climate in these mountains changes throughout the year, the Neom team will eventually offer skiing, a resort music festival, mountain biking, and various other exciting and relaxing activities. The third component of Neom completes the circle. If any of the projects I just listed seemed amazing, this one is the showstopper since it is a crucial component of the Neom project. Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, unveiled the line on July 25, 2022, as a paradigm shift in how civilization will prioritize humanity before all else. To put it another way, he wanted the line to serve as a template for how future worlds will look, and the vision is beyond stunning. The line will be a 500-meter-tall reflective glass superstructure with a width of about 200 meters. Despite the enormous population, 9 million people will find housing, and the line will only occupy 34 square kilometers of the octagonal desert. The line will run entirely on renewable energy. I'm not sure if that energy will come from the hydrogen plants they are building, and I'm not sure how the entire concept will work. But that's part of what makes the project exciting. Most of what the line will become after it is finished will be invented from scratch. This is made clear when considering that the line won't have any roads, cars, or carbon emissions because the fracking process will be carbon-free. Members of the Neom team have dubbed this concept zero-gravity urbanism. The structure of the line is divided into three distinct levels that can be accessed through three dimensions of movement: up, down, or across. The line's first level will be pedestrian. There won't be any roads or cars here, only green parks and paths that encourage walking and other leisure activities. The second level will serve as a service level and will have shops and a variety of other amenities. The city's features don't stop there. Artificial intelligence will also play a significant role in the residents' way of life. Automation will be the new normal, promoting efficiency throughout the futuristic city. The city will also feature digital air and what that is. The third level is the lowest, and it will serve as the city's backbone. This is where people and goods will be transported across the city with the aid of the high-speed transit system. On the more business socio-economic side of things, the weather will also be changed throughout the year to suit the needs of the residents. We have already seen this happen in Dubai through cloud seeding technology and a few other new solutions. Artificial clouds will be created and rainfall will occur more frequently in the desert. Everything from the energy to the water the residents drink will be 100% renewable. The second issue you would want to ask at this point is how much will this grand project cost? The price for the line since the city will not operate under Saudi Arabia's current legislative framework and will have its tax system, liberal labor regulations, and independent judicial system. When Project Neom was first announced in 2017, many ideas were discussed. On the one hand, the team talked about having flying cars, robotic stewards, and a few other sci-fi-inspired elements. Still, it sounded too good to be true, and no one believed it would see the light of day. But the critics wouldn't be the first to underestimate the people's will, and Project Neom proved them wrong. The project's original budget was $500 billion, and this absurd amount was supposed to be provided by the Saudi government and the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, which is at the root of the delay. I think the Neom team is still vastly underestimating how much Neom will cost. The problem with projects like the line is that only estimates can be made. Still, no one can accurately predict how much a futuristic linear city will cost. Recently, that cost has doubled, and now the Neom team has stated that any hopes of a 2030 completion will require at least $1 trillion. The Tesla tale is another excellent illustration. You may wonder why the Saudis are even building the line after Elon Musk lost hundreds of billions of dollars and repeatedly missed deadlines while attempting to make the first electric vehicles a reality. The line is a costly, risky venture that cannot afford to fail because it might ruin the Saudis if it does. The several factors behind the line: since Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman assumed the throne, Saudi Arabia has been undergoing a rebranding process. Although he is not the monarch, everyone recognizes him as the country's leader. The reforms he implemented in the following years made many of the country's once rigid laws less demanding for women. Saudi Vision 2030 is the Crown Prince's response to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. The Spanish city planner Arturo Soriano envisioned a city with a similar concept in the 1880s, where every resident would be as close to nature as possible while leading an urban life. There were also plans for something similar at the beginning of the Soviet Union, which was partially implemented in the cities of Volgograd and Magnitogorsk. In South America, this same concept served as the basis for Brazil's capital, Brasilia, which they commissioned, has officially started construction. A recent video that surfaced on social media shows numerous excavators digging a wide linear trench in the vast desert in the nation's northwest, where foundations for the city, which is expected to be 100 miles long, are expected to be built when the project was initially a concept. The disclosure: hundreds of vehicles and machines are seen laboring in the middle of the desert to prepare the site for building, in footage shot from a drone above a portion of the enormous construction site. Time will only be able to determine whether or not the line will succeed in fruition.
The line هو ثورة حضارية للإنسان، تضع الإنسان أولاً